This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hello, bright soul. I hope for those of you that celebrate the holiday that just passed, I hope you had a beautiful time with family and loved ones. And whatever you did, I hope you took some time to honor yourself, give gratitude, and all of the things that this time of year typically brings. Now that that's behind us, we have the end of a decade coming up. So this is a really good time to do a little bit of reflection and set some intentions going forward. So I wanted to create this podcast just to support you in that process, and we can do some of it together. What I particularly love about this new year is that we're closing out a full decade. And I've really just been taking time to honor my path and honor my journey. I've been through so much this last decade, and I'm sure you have too. Even this last year, I experienced so much growth in my personal life, with my business, just as a soul in general. It's been a busy year for most people. A lot of things in my family, health stuff going on for people, lots of changes and shifts and transitions and relationship endings and new relationship beginnings and just all the things that we experience in life. So for this particular closing of a year, walking into a new year, I like to do this every year, but this one, we're going for over a whole decade. So do it as you wish, but it's just a good time to focus on what did you gain? What did you learn through all the hardships or the celebrations, the highs? What did you learn? I learned so much about myself over the past year. I got a lot of clarity on relationships and how I tend to co-create in relationships and how I want to shift it. And, I started a new Orange Theory fitness program. So I used to just work out on my own. I've been active my whole life. So exercise is super important. You guys always talk about that. And those that don't like to exercise, I'm sure it's just an instant eye roll, but it's really important because it expands your health rates. It helps to push things out of your energy centers. But before I even knew that, I was very active. It's important for me to take really good care of my physical body. So this past year is something I'd been wanting to do. I wanted to try an Orange Theory. So I got going on Orange Theory and I absolutely love it. I'm seeing a lot of changes in my body. But initially when I started, I have a holistic nutrition background. I know a lot about nutrition and I know a lot about herbal medicine and natural remedies because I've been studying it for over a decade. But when I started Orange Theory, I was fading in my workouts, and it was a different type of workout in this phase of life than what I was used to. I've done workouts similar to this before. I was in the military, so I know hard workouts and pushing your body. But, I'm in the fourth decade of my life, and for whatever reason, I just could not nail in my nutrition to support my workout. I was tired. I wasn't recovering. And so I hired a nutrition coach, and he's phenomenal. He's helped me so much. So I've just really supported myself this past year and really just focused on all the ways in which I want to learn and grow and develop. And that goes for the physical thing too. I continue to study with pranic healing. I continue to develop my energy healing skills and my practices. So I took several courses, upped my meditation game so that way I can serve more people. And that was my spiritual growth this year. Also, when I'm on the internet the way that I am, people access my auric field. So I have to keep my aura really strong. I have to do a lot of spiritual hygiene, meditating, cleaning myself, cord cutting several times a day sometimes, and really just be in tune with that. But I don't mind it because that's part of my purpose. Emotionally, I did a lot of cleansing, breath work, physically, mentally, studying, learning, business skills outside of the spiritual realm. So I really try to focus on all areas of life, staying strong, staying connected. And I like to take this time to just do a review. So I'm only throwing those things out there in my life to get your juices flowing about what it is that you've done in your life. Hardships have come, but what did I learn from it? I've partnered with people in the past, this last decade, that were disasters. But it's not their fault. It's my fault. The common denominator, the only person that's been with me every single day of this entire past year and this entire past decade is me. I'm the only one that's been there with me 24 hours a day, physically. I'm not talking about the spiritual realm because we know there's always spiritual beings with us. So therefore, I'm responsible for me. So I have to look at myself. How did I show up? How did I co-create? What could I have done differently? What did I do differently? So that I can celebrate my successes, look at areas in which I have grown, and then look at areas in which I might want to grow in the future. So it's just a good time to sit. What did I gain? What did I learn? Even through the bad times, what gems did I grab? And how did I grow? How did I grow as a person? Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And the other part of that is, what do I want to leave behind? What do you want to leave behind in 2019? What do you want to leave behind for this previous decade? What are you choosing to release and let go so that you can enter this new decade as a new start, this new year and this new decade? So that's another area that you can just kind of ponder. And we're going to do some cord cutting. And when we do our healing, I will help you to bring those things up, and I'll help you to cut it away and run some energy healing to help you energize you going forward. What type of goals do you envision for 2020? What improvements do you desire? This is a really good time to get clear on the emotions behind it, because we know the emotion is the vibration. So I have some career shifts going on, so I'm really trying to focus on bringing that in. And I'm focused more on, I'm envisioning the actual atmosphere and all the things that I want, but I'm focusing on how does it make me feel? Because the feeling is where the vibration goes. So you want to focus on that feeling, not just a visual image, which I'm not saying that doesn't work, but the emotion behind it is where you're really trying to get. And it also helps you to peel back the layers of what you're really trying to get. A lot of people will say, oh, I want a relationship. And I'll say, well, why do you want the relationship? Well, because in my family, you're supposed to have children and you're supposed to get married by this age. That's not going to work because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And so there's more of a desperate type of energy. There's a pressure behind it. It's not the right type of vibration to pull in the correct person. So that's just an example to get you thinking about how you can really pull back the layers and figure out what it is that you're really wanting to create and why you're wanting to create it. Making sure that our intentions are pure and that we're sending out pure positive energy to align and co-create with the universe. This is a great time to clutter clear. This is a great time to start a gratitude practice if you don't already have one. It's a great time to start with a meditation practice. Sometimes at the beginning of the year, we go hog wild and we make unrealistic expectations of what we're going to do for the following year. So I'm not talking about that. These are things that I do throughout the year. Like, okay, I accomplished this goal. So now what's the next goal I want to accomplish? Okay, how could I do this better? What did I do right in this situation? It's just keeping yourself on track, having a plan so that you can execute the plan. And then if you have to make a new plan, make a new plan. But it's just creating some structure and outline for where you're going. If you just get in the car and drive, who knows where you're going to go? You want to have a direction. And so that's all we're doing here. And it's just a nice practice to get into just for lifestyle, just for productivity in general. This is a great time to get organized. A lot of us have a little bit of time off from work. So, I'm going through my files. Tax season's coming up. So I'm already starting to work on my taxes. So that way I know I'm getting all my stuff together and just preparing, cleaning out drawers, doing some deep cleaning around the house, taking things to charity, all the things that we should be doing all throughout the year. This is just a good time to do an overhaul. So I don't want to talk too much about this because I can feel that you all get the gist. I'd really just love to go into a healing. In this healing, I'm going to ask you to think about things you want to leave behind in 2019. Maybe it's codependent patterns. Maybe it's being too hard on yourself. Maybe it's poor eating habits. It could be anything, any area, and it doesn't matter. And so as I ask you to think about it, I'll be doing cord cutting. You'll focus on your breathing. I'll be running healing energy, and we'll just kind of do this together just to give you a little bit of a kickstart to make this next decade an amazing decade. Take all of the lessons you've learned in the last decade and last year. You're a stronger, better, more experienced version of yourself. So as you go forward, you get to take all that with you, all the good stuff, and continue to learn, grow, develop, and evolve, because that's why we're all here. So just go ahead and uncross your arms and legs and just start to take nice, deep breaths. And let's start with, what lessons did you learn? What did you gain? Let's just express gratitude on that. I'm feeling your heart center. Let's just soak in all those beautiful lessons. So grateful for your journey, so grateful for your path. You're here, you made it. You're smarter, you're wiser, you're more evolved, you're more developed, and that's a gift. And now let's think about, what would you like to leave behind in 2019? Leave it behind us, this decade, 2019. And as you think about that, just focus on your breathing. I'm doing some cord cutting and clearing. Letting it go, breathing it out. And so now just think about, what do you want to bring in 2020? What emotions do you want to feel? What's the vibration you're after? Is it stability? Is it peace? Is it deep love? Is it connection? Whatever it is, just focus on that feeling as I run energy healing and energize that feeling, that vibration, and that thought. What goals do you envision? What improvements do you desire? Bringing a smile to your face, just feeling those feelings. Okay, and so it is. I want to wish you a wonderful New Year's Eve and New Year's Day for those of you that do celebrate. Make it a ritual. Let some things go. You could even do a burning barrel if you want. A lot of people will do that. They'll write down the things that they want to let go in 2019 or leave in 2019 or even in the whole decade and burn it. Write it all down and burn it. Or you can just energetically let it go, just the way we did in this healing, where we just cord cut and we focus on what we want to bring in. Most importantly, celebrate yourself. You're here. You're doing the very best you can. You're making a difference in the world. The lighter you become, the lighter the world becomes. That's how it works. If you want to change the world, start by changing yourself. And I know that may sound cliche, but it absolutely works. I've noticed it in my own life. The more I shift and change, the more others notice. They're inspired by it. They're inspired by your light. And so that's how it works, because nobody wants to listen to someone who has a lot of wise advice, but they don't live it. That's why people say, practice what you preach. I want to see you live it. And then if you live it and I see your light shining brighter and brighter, now I'm inspired. It's through our action. So I want to thank you for being a light in the world, for staying on the path, for trying your very best to bring light into the world. It's working, and you should congratulate yourself, thank yourself, and continue on the path. The other thing I'll leave you with, and this is just a suggestion, but you could also just start a practice of asking yourself, how can I express my gifts and service to be of the greatest benefit of humanity? A simple question is like, how may I serve? How can I use my gifts and talents to help others? Sometimes just that little bitty question births a new path for us. I mean, it's worked for me for many years, just asking, hey, How can I be of service? How can I best use my gifts and talents and my service that I can provide to the world? How can I best use it today? A lot of times someone's name will pop into my mind or into my heart and they needed it. And that's how we support and serve one another. So with that said, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for leaving me reviews. It means so much to me. Comments, referring my work, subscribing to my YouTube channel, staying connected. I cannot thank you enough. Please feel my sincere gratitude, and let's go into this next decade and this next year and become brighter and healing vessels for the world. Thank you. Let's do it. And happy New Year. Take care. Bye-bye.